happen again.
This happened on Tuesday, and we know it was really hot that day.
Pretty high tech.
Hot. Joining us live in the Alert Center.
How long did you last in a hot car?
Facts that the heat index that day was 105 degrees.
We don't yet know.
Hammy is busy.
Busy Hammy.
That's what it says. I'm looking at it. You just got a note. Hammy is busy. I've never seen that before. That's funny.
This is not an accident. This is pure negligence.
That shit's running slow. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. You sound great.
Hello, Hammy. Nice to meet you.
Well, either way,
Why am I not here?
we've been having, I don't know about you, but we've been having this kind of internet issues in general.
Yeah, a little bit.
You're in Albany, yeah?
I'm in Corvallis.
Oh, okay. Well, close enough. Right.
Pretty much.
But you see, me personally, where I am, like geographically in the state, we lucked out. I'm in Winston, which is just it's right near Roseburg, and
Okay. Yeah.
and just in this little pocket, we were surrounded by ice storms, but didn't really get much of anything.
Oh, can't relate.
Right. No.
I wish I could.
Oh man, I have a buddy out in Springfield who had to beg for online, just on Facebook, for someone to bring him a generator and fuel, and it worked.
Wow.
Yeah, impressive. Like, it's so cool when strangers are willing to put themselves out to help people like that.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen in this world.
Well, sometimes it does.
Not no more. I had people in the past bring me weed and everything when I was stuck in the snow.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It actually does still happen. Like, I saw it happen in front of my eyes.
Yep.
And
yeah, you were there.
well, no, not that one. I'm talking about Josh Mossberg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he lost all his power. He had collapsed telephone poles and power lines. He has a cow, a bunch of animals. And he reached out, and some guy just said, "Hey, I'll come out and help you out."
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you love to see those. That, like I said, it just doesn't happen hardly ever anymore.
Right. Well, you don't hear about it, I guess. I don't know. I think it's more common that, people don't get support from people they already know.
Yeah.
Who claim to like them. It's like, okay. But
it's more fear, image, because they love us. Some of us love us, but they're so deep into the circle that, I can talk to you over here, but in public, I can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, something I want to get off my chest. So, Mike, you're not aware of any of this stuff, but Hammy and I put together a multi-genre blues festival. It was like a community center park last summer. We made it sound like a really huge, awesome, big deal online because, we're good at that kind of stuff. So some of the locals got very weird about everything. And because we were also raising money for a charitable cause, these people got it into their heads for some reason that we were kind of perpetrating some kind of fraud and doing all kinds of shady business and stuff, and looked into my own public records, regarding the business setup and how I had things organized, and then approached the charity, who has actually asked that, this is wild, the charity that we were raising money for, when they heard this crazy person's allegations about what he thought was going on with us, they contacted me and said, please don't send us the money. Send it to these other people that, these this third party is claiming, I'm like, oh, okay, I've never heard of that. And then it got weirder when the Department of Justice, like Charities Fraud Division, sent me a letter saying that they had some questions and wanted to find out like what was going on because of these anonymous complaints.
What the hell?
Yeah. So I had these lengthy, like hour-long, like telephone conversations with this forensic accountant with the Oregon Department of Justice, and they were like really interesting, kind of at times funny, easygoing, a little bit frustrating, because as we're going through like my business records and all the stuff that they claimed was going on, we both discovered, like by my submissions and her going through like regulations and that kind of thing, like kind of instructing me on what's allowed, what's not allowed. And she's like, there may have been some confusion about a certain aspect, but the important thing is we came to the conclusion that we had done nothing wrong at all. And in fact, these people complaining and interfering with our business was the thing that caused all this disruption in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't my actions. It was the person claiming that I was doing something wrong and then informing a bunch of people what they thought.
Just trying to take you down. Just for nothing.
Right. So they would be calling these like sweet, ladies at reception desks and stuff, like some of our sponsors, warning them not to like work with us because of such and such and this, and we're stealing money, and none of it was true. And so now, right, this is in July. So now that it's all been like cleared, and basically resolved, they're still at it. And now like this guy, Mike Hecker, who's kind of the ringleader of this like 4-person crew, like 2 bands even, which is even more disgusting. 2 like band duos, like husband and wife teams even, these people, right? They have this band called Hectic Week. And then this other band, they're also like involved in all this DOJ stuff.
I'll say it.
Say it.
New Age Phonograph. They
Right.
sent the 80-page document to DOJ.
The 80-page document was a bunch of their damn screenshots of our posts and things like that.
And my grandson.
And
Posts of my sick grandson.
that was the reason we decided on this whole charity thing in the first place, because he had a sick grandson who came down with this very like rare specific disease. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
so he's cool, right? He got treated, but
Good to hear.
the gross part about it is that now they're putting on these allegations on us, when at the same time, then they were very well aware of this, that there was a genuinely sick young man who had something to do with the foundation. One of the things that they were kind of accusing us of in some stupid way was that we were actually just raising money for the kid, and it wouldn't, it wasn't going to actually go to the foundation. It was going to, go to whatever, like all bullshit. Like, and so what eventually happened was, the Department of Justice said, okay, here's what you can do. Like regarding, them interfering and now the charity being scared. The Department of Justice lady, she told me that they have about 200 like items in a docket at any given time to investigate or inquire about or whatever. Like there's all kinds of like charity fraud going on in Oregon apparently. So, right, who knew? So, the amount was very small. Like, it wasn't really. She thought that was funny. The like agreed upon amount and everything was all very like 3 figures. Maybe 4 if we're lucky, like at the best. Right, very like we planned it out for 6 months. This festival, So the idea of trying to gain $500 or whatever on the back of a charity with the grandparents involved. So it was just goofy. So because she had never heard of that happening before, like a charity blocking the donation, she's like, well, they always want their money. I'm like, well, whatever these people said to them scared them enough so that they decided they didn't want the money. So she said,
like,
well,
were they trying to get the money? Like, were they trying to steal it? Or were they trying to, like, maybe... Like,
they were just trying. They were just.
Hector, this is what happened. Hector called the foundation.
Yeah.
And the first thing out of his mouth is that we were burning bands and bands weren't getting paid.
Right.
That was the first thing he started, which put them scared. So what they did, they replied in an email and stuff that they just wanted to wash their hands. That $500 check that Mike talks of, they said, go ahead and pay whatever bands are left over and all that.
Right. So
that's what happened.
Right. So the charity had this additional information that they shouldn't have. Right. Basically, what would they care about that? Like, or how would they get that information, right or wrong? Right. It turned out to not be the case too. Also, like, there's, but the main thing was like, so we could try to convince the foundation to accept it, you know, or send the money to a similar organization that does the same kind of thing, or there's a way to send the money directly to the Department of Justice, and then they send the money to the designated charity. So, and I said, okay, let's do that, because there's also a clear record, you know, of that happening, because all this nonsense about taking money or misappropriating it or you know, it's all just like not the case. And we have the most frustrating thing to them is that we have all this like finalized documentation now, kind of basically saying there was, you know, no harm, no foul. The money got where it was supposed to go to. And we haven't let them see that. Right? Like, they're mad because they want to see, like, they're like, you need to show us proof that you did the right thing. Well, no, we don't. We know. That's it. Like,
yeah, we don't have to prove shit to them.
Exactly. And it's just so funny because the more they go on about this stuff, the goofier they seem.
They sound pretty goofy.
Well, yeah. And we want to, like, let people know, you know, to, you know, avoid them, right? Because they've done weird stuff regarding this event, and God knows you don't want them to do weird stuff at your event. So, I mean, if these bands pop up on your radar, really consider, like, what you might be getting into, like, working with them. It's super important.
Yeah, if they do it to us, if we supposedly piss them off and we did something wrong, what happens to the events, future events they go to and they see something wrong? Well, they got to do the same thing to them?
Right. The weirdest part was that these two bands in particular were taken care of just like any other band. It got paid and everything, like on time, and, you know, the whole deal. Like, nothing. Not only were they wrong about all their allegations, but they didn't have anything to do with it in the first place. Like, none of their business. So weird.
Interesting. Just sounds like people sticking their noses where they don't belong.
Yeah, and causing big problems. Like, we had to cancel 3 additional events because of all the uproar. Like, we made the papers and stuff, you know. It was, we probably, even though it's like not worth our time, but we probably have a case, you know, of them like bad mouthing us so much that it caused harm.
I mean, sounds like it. We do.
But, you know, that kind of stuff, here's the criteria, though. Okay, so, like, for defamation, for instance, like, you have to prove that the person knew that they were lying. Okay, that's on you. You have to prove that they knew it and that they did it anyway. Now, if they were mistaken and they thought something was true and said it, that's not defamation. That's just like you're being a dumbass. It's really difficult to prove those things But we
Yeah.
have so many elements, though, because of their dumb posts and things and, like, you know, direct messages and all that stuff about how they saw this and that, and then that changed, or they overheard this and that. Like, that kind of thing where your story shifts depending on who you're talking to about, you know, what you did or didn't see. Give me a break. Like, the allegation was that the grandparents were stealing money out of a donation bucket to buy drugs for the crew. Really? That's insanity. And then one of our crew members, you know, after they were saying all that stuff, like a week later or 2 weeks later, he calls me panicked because now his friends are going, "Hey, dude, what's going on? Like, why are they saying this stuff about you?" And so he's all, "Oh shit, like, now my rep is getting like trashed and I don't even know what's going on." That's the kind of like ripple effect that lies, you know, about people in the community can have. Like Southern Oregon, you know, in this area, Oregon in general is very small, you know, so making like those kinds of baseless accusations against people, we've all seen like the results. And like, I've never really felt that kind of thing so like directly. And it just like, oh man, it just made me mad, and mad enough to start like wanting to clown them too, which is also like pretty like not a good place for my head to go, because I'll get very brutal with this stuff, you know, like it's, you know, I don't know. Just like,
it's like him today. Mike sending me the message saying, "Well, you got to quit talking shit, or am I going to post this stuff?" And it's all the stuff that we already have in emails. And I'm like, please share it, because each piece is what fits him and his friends. He won't post a whole letter. You can figure it out and put two and two together. Oh shit!
So what he did?
That's who.
Yeah. I saw like the little post or whatever. But what he did was he did like a public records request for like communications between the state of Oregon and the foundation, right? And the state of Oregon and me, and like, you know, like emails or whatever, correspondence. Like, I'm like, dude, we already know that whatever the foundation has, whatever information that the state has, that information came from you, bro. You're going to like request information that they have because of what you said. Okay. Or
correct. And the thing about it, the stuff that he's got is all redacted and blacked out on certain spots. We have the stuff that's straight. Nothing's blacked out.
No, because we have those, like, there's some of those are like my own emails. It's so dumb. Like what are you doing? Like, how much free time do you have out there, bro? Like you're
That's crazy.
It's so crazy. And like, I've never like seen anything like that, but,
yeah, let's get the crippled fat dude in the wheelchair. We're going to stop him. Dude, my legs ain't stopped me. I'm still rolling.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
really
crippled
wanted
as
to,
fuck.
I really wanted to get that off my chest. Welcome everybody to the Hot Car Podcast.
Yes, welcome everybody.
Yeah.
So there's been Hammy hasn't, you know, Hammy is, you know, our other co-host. This is this show is his and mine. Like, and we over the last like I think almost like 20 episodes starting this up, we've had a lot of different changes, guest hosts coming in, people getting all excited about things. We did a whole bunch of stuff about the troubled teen industry and like those kinds of crazy boarding schools and wilderness camps. And we think that's, you know, really important, but we also like to, you know, want to expand and into, you know, other more like, you know, happy topics too. You know, I think it's an important mission, but doing that stuff all the time can get very sad. So we are happy to have on our show today as really our first guest of season 2, Mike Lee, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. How are you?
man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say, off the jump, first off, thank you for supporting me over these last couple months. It's been a pleasure knowing you and getting to talk to you. I really appreciate it, man. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome. The pleasure is all ours. As another kind of mini intro, I do a weekly radio show out of an online Eugene radio station called Hysterical Light Eugene. You can just look that up. I'll have a link. But they're like a legit online Eugene, broadcaster. And I have a 4-hour block every Saturday from noon to 4 Pacific. And I think last week or the week before, we had like a 3 or 4 song block from you, Mike.
Yeah.
That was sweet. I love your music. We put together that little compilation of some of what I thought was your best work up on Bandcamp.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
yes.
It's always about, doing all that creative work and like doing it immediately. I think that's really important sometimes.
Yeah, super
I was
cool.
at band camp once.
I bet you were.
Yeah, I think that might be my first few songs on Bandcamp, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have anything up there.
No, I guess, unfortunately, I think Bandcamp is being dismantled too, unfortunately, by a new big corporate entity that bought it. They were kind of one of the good ones, last kind of independent like platforms that really seem to care about curating new music. That was kind of the big thing that they did, is they would and still do, but recommend all kinds of interesting new artists to people. And we see it, with my little label. I see it that happening every day. It's pretty neat to see, just strangers picking up your music, even if it's just like, 5-10 plays a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And
It all
I mean,
counts.
every play counts.
It all counts. I try to get that across to people sometimes. They're like, oh, well, your platform isn't that big, or you don't have enough this or that or followers. And I don't know if numbers really count as much as they used to.
I don't think so. To be honest with you, a lot of the songs that I listen to regularly have like maybe 500,000 streams or less.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's not a lot right now when songs are getting 50, 60, 70 million on the regular.
Yeah, but then you wonder, like, who's really listening to that stuff?
Yeah,
It really
who's
makes me
paying for what for the?
I mean, there's a lot of that going on, like paying for streams, of course. And if you have thousands and thousands of dollars at your disposal to do that, just because you're not making any. See, that's the other weird thing. You're not getting a return on your investment like that way.
Yeah.
You might be getting more exposure, and so what? It's like just the other version of pay to play.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I like that I have like an organic audience,
Exactly.
Like that's a big deal to me. I like that every stream, everything that you see is always 100% a person.
Right.
At least according to the Spotify stats, I guess I can't 100% say that everybody that has listened is a person, but
Right. Well,
it looks like it, at least from what I know. As far as I know, I haven't paid for anything.
Right. Well, no, that's like really gratifying, especially when you see, those real numbers from real fans who are really enjoying what you're doing, like grow. It's like, it's the bet that, that's the only reason it's up.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of the crazy thing that happened to me recently, where my buddy found an old cassette tape that I made on my 4-track recorder in 1988 Pro when I was 17, 18 years old. And I didn't even know that, I didn't even remember that we had done that That was like how obscure it was. But he's like, no, dude, we were a band for like 9 months. And I'm like, what? Like, it's so funny. And then I was listening to this tape and like this music that we made. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. And then slowly, this whole like 6-month period kind of came back into my like memory. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that happened. You have that? Well, you see, I guess it's hard to ask because if you don't know, you don't remember what you don't remember, you know?
Yeah.
Hammy still there? No? Okay. He's in a kind of far out of the way location too, very rural. So that may be part of the issue, but that's cool, you know. I think.
Might pop back in.
If he pops back in,
there he is.
Hey, that's also a good thing about editing. I don't do a lot of editing of these shows unless there's like a big, like silent gap, you know, where nobody's saying anything. But you just throw it up into Audacity, real simple, and then throw some compression on it so the like everybody's voice kind of evens out, like volume wise.
Yeah.
And put my 2 little intro and outro like tags on the front and back of it. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like a one-take podcast too, where it's not jumping around all the time.
Right. I'm trying to become more disciplined with like notes, like especially if we're on a specific topic, like a certain subject that we want to stick to, because it's super easy to divert off and go on what you think is an interesting like side journey, but doesn't really hit. You know, it's like music.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, you've got to remember that. You know, hypothetically, we're actually talking to an audience. You're like right now, you know, and they're hearing this and thinking like, how does this relate to me at all?
Yeah.
You know, how does it relate to?
Yeah, very true.
You know, like do you listen to any like podcasts at all, or is that a thing of yours at all?
Yeah, I'm a big Rogan guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big Rogan guy. I
Still?
think I've listened to probably every episode. I got to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
And I don't even know why. It's just something that I put on. And
It's just Rogan.
Right. It is just Rogan. Like that's the appeal, I guess. He's such a
You don't give a fuck.
he's such a like charismatic and interesting person. You could just listen to him talk. I mean, I don't know if he's the best comedian, but he's a damn good podcaster.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of his stand-up, but he's good. But his podcast, man, I always have a good time listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something I go to. Like, I love, even, he could have a scientist on, he could have another comic on,
Right.
a rapper, a fucking astronaut, like, and it's going to be a good episode. Like, he asks the questions that, like, a teenage stoner would ask
Yes.
somebody like in that field. You know what I mean?
Right. No, you're right. Like a big dumb ape is like the perfect interviewer because he's just so damn curious about every little thing that's going on and whatever you're doing. Like, oh, you're doing weird DNA stuff. Tell me more about that.
Yeah,
You're right.
and he just dives into it, and he's always open minded to everything. Like when he did an interview with Kanye West, when everybody's bagging on him, he does an interview with Kanye, and like,
Dude,
just
Who doesn't bag on Kanye?
but who
Yeah,
wouldn't
I mean-
also who wouldn't do an interview with Kanye?
yeah,
Really, you better be
exactly. Like,
really honest with yourself. If the opportunity arose, for whatever reason, he wanted to like get on the phone with you,
yes.
and you could and said you could record it and put it out.
Yep, the answer is yes, 100%.
Of course, yes. What, like
It's absolutely
so? Anyone
yes.
who says no is
Every time.
lying. Anyone on the planet.
If Kanye wanted to look at me from across the street, I would do it. Like, I would do anything if a man wanted me to do it.
Dude, I like that idea. Like, what would Kanye do? Like, or what would you do with Kanye? Like, that's the question. Like, would you stand on the street and let Kanye stare at you from across the street for any amount, for zero amount of money?
No, I'd have him.
I would.
You just want to.
I think it would have to be documented that it actually happened. You would have to have footage that.
At least a picture.
At the very least, right?
At least a picture.
Well, maybe Mike will be there in the bushes taking pictures. He might get it for us.
Yeah, I would. I'd risk it.
Nice.
I mean, like,
Nice.
the dude in the music world, he's just like a demigod. He's just insanely talented musician. You know, he's got a past, and you know who doesn't? And he's got mental illness that he's dealing with. And
who doesn't?
Again, who doesn't? Like,
so I think that last he did that performance with who was it?
Was it Drake?
No, that like staged performance he did with was it Earl?
Earl?
Was he? It was Freddie Gibbs.
Oh, out in Miami?
Yes, at Basel.
Yeah. That was with Ty Dolla $ign.
Ty Dolla $ign, yeah. Why do I, you know? It's funny. I don't know why. Maybe it's the like dreads, or I don't know why I get those two confused. For no good, because
Earl
they're
was
so
there,
different.
though.
Because they're incredibly different.
Yeah.
But for some reason, those names like get switched around in my head. Anyway, the point I was trying to make, I think that performance was somewhat of a redemption arc for him, even if it was very tiny. And part of the reason I think that's true is because he had those guys up on stage with him, especially Fred. Dude, that guy's right. I love that guy.
Dude, Freddie Gibbs is easily one of my top 5 favorite rappers right now.
And he just keeps getting better and better. You notice that too?
Yeah.
Like
every album.
You like listen to like a Freddie Gibbs song and he's got like 3 or 4 different flows.
Yeah.
And it's like what's going on? And more emotional expression in his voice too that used to not be there.
He's one of the only like real lyrical rappers left. Like that isn't out there to make the next club hit, but out there to send a message.
Yeah, and it's like just super enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just, man, he's I would even say the best rapper out right now, to be honest.
Well, it's interesting. Like you think about like skill wise, who's really like better? Like as far like, I mean, everyone has their own like unique styles, and that's a given, and anything is valid. But I don't know, just technical skill and storytelling ability.
The only other people that are like doing it right now that I would maybe put over him are like JID. Or maybe like J. Cole.
Yeah, I haven't. That's interesting because I have almost zero experience with either of those guys.
Oh, I highly recommend them.
Yeah, it's a trip.
You know, 2014 Forest Hills Drive is one of the best albums ever.
Yeah, right. Now, that's so interesting. I mean, you always have to pick and choose, and there's always these like, artists and people that you know about and have heard clips of maybe or this and that, but just have never got into. It's interesting.
Yeah. There's tons of artists like that. Like for me, Ty Dolla $ign, funny enough, is one of those artists that like I hear him all the time, but I just have never thought to really listen to him.
Right. It's a trip. You still there, Hammy, or are you gone? All right. Huh. Interesting. Well, so it's a shame because I wanted him to ask some of the. We have this series of questions I came up with that I wanted him to participate in, but because I think some of them are pretty funny.
I'm here. It's just my fucking internet keeps going in and out.
There's speaking of like podcasts that I like, there's one called Well, There's Your Problem, and it's a podcast about engineering disasters with slides, like on YouTube. So it's three like really goofy ass people talking about, the Hindenburg and all of the details surrounding like what happened and things like that, or bridge collapses. Those people, they have like 2 million, subscribers. They're making, tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they have the same issues with sound. Like, it's unreal. Like, there's another podcast I listen to, always one guy, his microphone just sucks constantly. And like, you're thinking like, well, these guys presumably have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. And it's still like, there's no getting around bad internet. There's no getting around bad internet. Like, it will come and destroy us all.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's the source of pretty much everything.
Piss us the fuck off.
It's not a choice.
I love that. That's Gabby, I think. I think that I love that.
Yeah, that laugh shut the fuck up.
Okay. So, Mike, have you ever had a memorable encounter on the road that left you thinking, well, that only happens in the movies?
Which one do you want?
I mean, I don't know. I have full disclosure. Okay. I have to like point something out just because, I feel it's appropriate. So these questions were generated by, me putting in some prompts into, Chat GPT, just so everyone knows. So these aren't even my questions. These are like questions directly from the void.
Love it.
Right. So
Let's do it.
So any like cinematic moments?
Let's see.
I mean, I don't know, like on the road, on stage, anything that just kind of blew your mind and made you feel like a certain way.
So one time I had a show in Coos Bay. I was opening up for Eazy-E's son, Baby E. Shout out.
Shout out, Baby E. Shout out.
Baby E.
Also, shout out E3.
Shout out E3.
Yeah, I heard about that guy.
So I get up on stage and we start the show and the mics are super low, like super, super low. And so I'm like screaming into the microphone, like, "Coos Bay, are you ready to party?" And it's just nothing. And so I'm like, fuck it, I got to do something. So I scream into the microphone for my whole set, lose my voice, have like I end with this one song that has a lot of singing, and it sounded like shit.
Yeah.
Set ends, and I go up to the promoter, and I'm like, "Hey, man, what's up with the mics? Like, what's going on?" And we're checking them out. We call like an intermission for a second so we can fix it. Messing around with stuff, can't figure it out. We go into the sound engineer booth, and the engineer of the club is doing coke off the board.
Hey, you weren't in Butte, Montana, were you?
No.
You sure that was Coos Bay and not Butte?
No, that was us. No, that was us, Hammer.
Yeah, that was us.
No, we were in Butte, Montana. We had a gig out there, 2022, at this dive bar, and we had brought a 16-ounce mason jar full of concentrate. And so we're coming up from Oregon through Washington.
A small jar.
And then we're having to shoot the mountain pass through Idaho to get to Montana. Right? You don't want to get stopped in Idaho ever.
In the gun. Watch out for the mountain.
So we show up at the venue, and I didn't know this, but in Montana there's no open container laws. You can like drink a beer, walk down the street.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no helmet laws either. You can ride your side by side down the boulevard.
With your kid.
With your kid, no helmets. Fascinating. Like you got people pulling up to you on ATVs and shit. Like it's wild. So we're at the venue and we're like, oh, we got this great weed. Where can we, when we going to go back to the RV? And they're like, oh no, right here's fine. Like right outside the bar, like on the little tables outside is cool. And then we're like, oh, dabs, and they're like, right at the bar is cool. We're like, what? Like if this was Oregon, we'd all be arrested. What are you talking about?
What now?
We'd all be in jail.
Wow.
And they're like, what? And we're like, yeah, the police would actually probably come and either give us a huge ticket or take us to jail for the night. And they're like, well, it's legal. That's their whole explanation. That's it. They're like, oh, well, it's legal. Like, okay.
It's legal.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's 5,000 people in Montana.
Right,
So
right.
they're probably just all cool.
Right. No, that was a fun trip. I would highly recommend visiting Montana in the spring, summertime. It's beautiful, nice people, interesting.
I'm actually thinking about doing a summer road trip from Chicago back to Oregon.
Okay.
Just as
when we leave it.
Oh, speaking of road trips, here's another good question from the internet. How about? I know you said you were interested in cars. Underground racing, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So any interesting stories there? I'm sure.
Okay, so this is my favorite racing story that I have.
All right.
And I was ready for this one. So me and my cousin, he built a drag car, and it was I think a 2002 Integra. That he just souped out, and it was running a quarter mile in, I think, under 11 seconds. Mm-hmm. And so it's a test run day. And so he's like, come out to the track. Let's hang out. I was like, absolutely. It's going to be a great time. Watching him run, watching him break his own record, having a good time. And then we hear that somebody's bringing a rally car, like a professional dragster.
Nice.
And we're like, no way. Maybe that's what the big trailer is in the back, whatever. And then they wheel one out. And oh my God, it's the most beautiful sounding engine. Loud and just rumbles and shakes the ground. And I'm like, as soon as it starts, it gets up to the line. Everybody's out there ready to watch. He takes off, snaps the timing belt.
Oh man!
And they didn't have a backup one.
Damn.
So we didn't even get to see him run. He made it down in about 16 seconds, and my cousin goes, "Listen, I beat him.
Right.
I beat him. I can say my car beat his car."
True.
And the drag.
Yeah.
That night.
Say again, Hammy.
I say a good thing you didn't buy Strandy that night.
I think the internet is editing Hammy on purpose. Because you know what he's saying. You can make it out, and I think the The internet gods are going.
Fuck the internet.
There he is.
Right. That reminds me of
Okay.
we at the Lane County Fair, also in 2022, we quote unquote opened for what was that guy's name? Dickerson.
Internet.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
who the fuck are you that security says? We're on the list of...
So what he was saying before he got roboted out was that so we were booked at the Lane County Fair. We're also a band. We have a kind of a psychedelic blues duo thing that we do called Stoned Ham, and I play guitar and sing, and Hammy does percussion and like drives us all over the place. But what was that guy's name? Dickerson? Anyway,
Bailey Dickerson?
he's a country guy. And
Bailey Dickerson?
hold on. Daily Dickerson, what?
Russell Dickerson.
That's right, Russell Dickerson.
Oh, there it is.
So his
Dickerson.
crew, we were pulling in, to the artist's like driveway area, and like his crew comes out and they're like, "Who are you?" And we're like, "We're with the band." He's all, "You got to park over there." And then there was some other weird thing about Hammy and like him having them like say his name. Like people started chanting Hammy's name during Dickerson
It was
playing.
over the washboard playing when I started playing the washboard.
Right. And they were like, he was like, I don't know, he seemed kind of pissed actually. Well, we don't care. Like it was because we're playing for free, you know, and like this guy, he just like, I don't know, it's like that weird mix of, it's not exactly like hick hop, but it's this like super
Country pop.
this super
Country pop.
like this super harmonized country with like big 808s, and it just sounds terrible.
Yeah, not my style.
Nah, not at all. It's
I'm
just,
really into Zach Bryan right now, though.
he's cool. Like, well, it's like genuine like musicianship and like and instruments that are just kind of appropriate for the genre, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna, dude, you're probably not gonna get very far doing your violin industrial band, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, bro. Like you should, or you're like, a band like Behemoth, like death metal. They can get away with having like horns and stuff in their music that sounds pretty badass. But you're not going to get like new metal with a tuba. No. And
Yeah.
you don't need country with 808s, bro.
Yeah, it's just like all you got to do is write like 4 lines, a catchy hook, another 4 lines, and then there it is. There's a country song.
Right. And like it's sad because a lot of these people have really excellent musical skills, and they're just playing like the worst kind of music. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, you could be playing any kind of music, like some guitar guy, for instance, and you're playing like some like washed out dumbass slide thing. Like that's the whole part. That's the whole thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and 808s are just not for country music.
No, it's pretty silly.
Like, I honestly, I barely need drums in country music, to be honest.
Well, there's a whole
Like,
yeah.
What did you say?
I barely
Need drums and music?
Oh,
in
see now.
country music.
Oh, now Hammy's gonna get pissed because he's a drummer.
Hey, Emmy, before you rail me a new one, so am I. So am I.
Oh,
Listen, I'm a
Okay.
drummer.
But you know my name, right? That's okay. You know my name.
so well, there's a whole big trend now in like music in general of drumless tracks. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I have a couple, but don't know. There's something about the bass that just hits different, or a nice kick.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of music with no drums, but like a string bass. That's kind of rare.
Yeah. I have one track actually that I just did that was kind of a country type song that had a string bass on it.
Yeah.
It's called "For You With Love," and I love that song.
Right on.
Something interesting about string over drum.
Yeah.
Just new way to play, I guess. Different way to play, I should say.
Definitely. So, I guess the other thing that was really interesting about is that you? Are you Anonymous Jackal?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's weird. I'm looking at the Google Doc. Are you looking at the Google Doc?
Not currently.
So that's interesting. I'm just seeing like this cursor move around on this page, and it says Anonymous Jackal. Like this, it will show up this green cursor that's floating up and down the page.
Huh?
Because I share, it's a shareable document. Who is?
I'm the jackal.
Oh,
Look at, I'm moving it.
Oh, there it is.
why does it say Anonymous Jackal? That's wild.
No, good
So,
call.
are you trying to choose a question to ask Mike? Hello?
Yes, I'm looking at one here.
Okay.
Yeah,
go for
I'm
it.
here.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So let's see. What is your weapon of choice, whether on or off the mic?
Ooh, there you go.
Whether on or off the mic. What do you think it meant by that?
Well, I
What is
said.
your weapon of choice?
Well, I told ChatGPT that you were a rapper, and that we wanted questions that related to cars, fighting, music, and that's so. I think that was why, because of the combination.
Huh. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that
it's-
question. That was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's a nice question. Good job, ChatGPT.
Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, my weapon of choice, it's like easy. My weapon of choice would be dab. I walk up and it's any problem, or one dab. That's it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Wait, did he say? Did he say it was dab?
I thought he said a gat.
Oh.
No, I ain't jacking nothing. I'll bring a dab.
A dab. He's going to dab everybody out, and they're just going to be too stoned to even like react.
There it is.
Well, all right. So yeah.
So my weapon of choice, off the mic, I would say, I don't know. I'm a fist fighter. That's what I do. I don't like to use a weapon, but if I got to use a weapon, I would do probably a gun. That's probably smart.
It kind of depends, but that's always like the easiest, best choice. Kind of overall.
Yeah.
If that's available, because it makes it fairly easy. I mean, that's the whole idea. It's.
I mean, actually, I have a nice knife collection.
Nice.
That maybe might be cool to use.
Sure. And then I think about oh, well, that would be a terrible thing to do to have that feeling of knifing somebody. Even from your perspective, that's not very nice.
Yeah, can't say I have the urge to knife somebody.
No, well, that's good. No, but I do think that I think you make a point with the whole kind of fending for yourself with your own body and skills. There's something to that definitely makes the fight itself somewhat more legitimate. I suppose if the two opposing sides are fairly equally matched, like that's a big part of it too. You know, you don't want to beat up some little kid.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, that's too easy for one thing.
I just where I grew up.
They ain't met my kids.
That's true. They have not met your kids. They'll all just gang up on you like a swarm. So that's pretty tough, though. Like, yeah, that's annoying. You don't want to be attacked by 10 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You just don't. That's not good.
Yeah.
You have to throw
You
it
know,
through.
it's like where I grew up, it was like, you know, you don't jump somebody, you don't use a weapon, you don't do any of that. Like if you're gonna fight, you fight.
That's right.
You know, and I feel like that's just the way that you should do it. Like if you're gonna settle, there's no reason to. Like I'm not promoting violence, but
Right.
I'd rather see people fight, like fist fight, than shoot each other.
Sure. There's, it's funny. I just turned 54. I was born in 1970. So all through the 70s, I lived in like Orange County, California, but I was a poor kid in kind of an environment where most of the people around me like had, more money than our family and stuff. But on our street, it was kind of the poor street in the city. If there was a fight between like two kids, like two boys were having like a fist fight, the entire neighborhood, excluding the moms who were staying inside, would come out and surround the kids like it was a sporting event.
Oh my god!
And like pick sides and stuff. I mean, you're talking like the dads, the uncles, the brothers, the little sisters, everybody.
Man,
Sometimes if you lost the fight, you got home and you got your ass beat again for losing the fight.
See, Hammy knows too. Yes, and sometimes the adults would coach. They would coach their kid.
oh, my dad taught me how to fight.
No, during the fight.
Oh, in the fight.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yes, like hit him this
Yeah,
way.
coach, go.
Like hit him this way. Like do this. Like like,
Damn.
oh, yeah, no shit. It was,
Damn. Now in middle school, we used to we had a park across the way from our school,
yeah.
and there would always be like, pass it on, so and so are fighting tonight. And right after school, everybody would walk across to that park because the school couldn't punish you because you were in the park.
Not true.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in Oregon it was, but not in
Kids.
California. I got busted for fighting off campus after school and had to like have a Saturday detention because of it.
Yeah, not in Oregon either, because the kids are going to come to school with bruises, and the teachers are going to want to find out what happened.
Well, no, because the parents complained, so then I got in trouble for fighting with my friend.
Yeah,
Off campus.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know
I
why
think
we thought that would work.
Right. It doesn't
know?
work. The
No,
stuff
not at all.
No. The stuff that the kids do off campus counts.
And so one time everybody went over, and there were these two kids that were going to fight, and they weren't throwing; they were just jumping around, like not doing anything.
Right.
And then some kid pulled out a revolver,
Oh no.
and we all just took off running.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't trying to like cause any violence. He wanted to show it off to his friend.
Right.
Wrong time, dude. Like,
That's the wrong time.
Why would you do it there? But that was the last one that we ever did because somebody brought a gun.
Right.
And,
To show
the
it
school
off
heard
during
about that, and we all got in trouble.
Oh man.
Yeah, surprise. Off campus doesn't work.
No, hey kids, off campus doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that's probably good. I think that's
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's we hit the hour mark.
Yeah, I want to do this again with Mike. This is fun one. I get a little bit better internet.
Yeah.
Absolutely, always down.
This happened on Tuesday, and we know it was really hot that day. Hot car. Joining us live in the Alert Center.
How long did you last in a hot car?
Facts that the heat index that day was 105 degrees.
Hot car. We don't yet know about a potential third suspect who was seen speeding away from federal
not an accident. This is pure negligence.